Hey guys, welcome back to our channel. I realize that we actually don't introduce ourselves on here very often, so for any people who are new to our channel or this is the first video that you have ever watched of us, my name is Amy. We run a two-person channel, so me and my sister Beck. We're often asked what our relationship is, whether we're sisters or whether we're friends. We are actually sisters. And over here on this channel, we like to talk about all things holistic health, natural health. We do a little bit of green beauty as well. And we also like to share a few paleo inspired recipes. So that's actually what I'm going to be doing today. So I'm going to be sharing 3 paleo, gluten-free, dairy-free, grain-free, refined sugar-free recipes. And this video was actually super highly requested from you guys. I will mention that we do actually have a full recipe ebook dedicated to paleo breakfast recipes. So I will link that in the description below. We also do like to share a lot of recipes and what we're up to and what we're eating over on our Instagram. So if you're not already following over there, you can find us at cultivate_beauty. But today I'm going to be sharing 3 really healthy, balanced breakfast ideas for you guys. They kind of range from things that you might do every day to things that are more of a Sunday, like a special thing. So the first one that I'm going to be doing is sweet potato toast. Second one is sweet potato waffles. Third one is a low sugar smoothie bowl. So I am going to jump straight into our recipes. So let's get started with the first one. So the first recipe that I'm going to be making this morning is for sweet potato toast. This is something that you can make in a toaster. I actually don't own a toaster because I don't buy bread and I don't eat toast like on a day-to-day basis. So that's just not a piece of equipment that I have. So today I'm actually going to be making our sweet potato toast in the oven. So it's still a really straightforward process. And one thing that I do like about sweet potato toast is that you can top it with anything that you like. So it's an easy breakfast that you can make egg-free, because I know that if people are avoiding eggs, it can be a really tricky one. In the past, I actually have eliminated and reintroduced eggs. So during that period of time, I actually went through a lot of sweet potato toast because you can top it with other things that aren't just eggs. All that you're going to need to get started is a sweet potato, and you want to find one that's kind of like a good medium size and that's kind of like round and fat. And I'm just going to slice this up into about 1 centimeter thick pieces. So you don't want to make it ultra thick, but you don't want to make it too skinny. I should mention that this is a breakfast that I still eat with a knife and fork. So it's not exactly like toast in the sense that you can pick it up. So anyways, let's get started. Okay, so now I'm just going to pop our sweet potato toast onto a lined baking tray. You don't need to add any oil, so you can just leave it dry. And then I'm going to pop that into our preheated oven. So you just want to put the oven on at about 180 degrees, fan forced. Okay, so I'm going to leave that in the oven for about 10 minutes. And during the period of time where I was doing a lot of sweet potato toast, what I'd do is I'd put it into the oven and then I would go and do my makeup for the morning, because obviously doing sweet potato toast in the oven is going to take longer than doing like regular toast in the toaster. Obviously you still want to be making sure that you're keeping an eye on it. You don't want to burn your house down, but that is kind of like my little extra tip for you guys. Also, while our sweet potato toast is in the oven, I'm actually going to cut up an avocado. So today what I'm going to put on our toast is some avocado, also some smoked salmon. So that keeps it nice and egg-free. My other winning combo for sweet potato toast is pesto and chicken. Oh my god, it's so good. If you haven't tried it, you have to try it. We have a pesto recipe over on our Instagram, so you can go over there and check it out if you want to. But basically just slather your sweet potato toast with pesto and then put on some roast chicken. Oh, it is like literally the best thing ever. When I found that combo, I was like, this is amazing. But we're gonna keep it kind of like breakfast orientated today. So we're gonna go with our avocado and our smoked salmon. Okay, so our sweet potato toast is done, and as you can tell, I've just speared it with a fork to make sure that it's soft in the middle. So that probably took a little bit longer than 10 minutes. The thicker that you cut your sweet potato, obviously the longer that it's going to take to cook. So I'm just going to top this with some avocado and our smoked salmon and some salt, pepper, and we'll be all good to go. And voila, we have our first meal. Obviously, you can get really creative and do a bunch of different toppings on these. I've seen people do ones with nut butters, with coconut yogurt even, and you could obviously do eggs, but I really love this combination because we've got the sweet potato for our carbs, we've got some avocado for some healthy fats, and then we have our smoked salmon for some protein and also our omega-3. It's a super balanced, super nourishing, yummy meal. Moving on to our next recipe, we are going to be doing some paleo sweet potato waffles. So these make a super decadent treat for the weekend if you have a little bit of extra time to whip up a breakfast. Although I'm sure it's something that you could do ahead of time and reheat during the week. But one thing that I do particularly like about this waffle recipe is that we aren't using things like almond flour or tapioca starch. So the main ingredients in this recipe are actually sweet potato, coconut flour, and flax. So wherever possible, I do try to use coconut flour because I do find it to be a healthier flour to use, a little bit better even than say almond flour, where we've got like 100 almonds that have been ground up into a flour, which can feel really, really heavy on your gut, like an anvil to the gut. So I'm going to take you through this recipe and I'll show you all of the ingredients before we get started. So the first thing that you're going to need is some roasted sweet potato. So I have actually already cooked this in the oven. You just want to slice it up into quarters or halves and bake it in the oven at 180 degrees for about 40 minutes or so until it's soft all the way through, because we're going to be mashing this and turning it into like a puree. So I'm going to be using about half a cup of mashed sweet potato, which is about roughly half of a sweet potato. Next up, we're going to be using about a tablespoon of our collagen peptides. So I am using the Great Lakes, but you could also use the Vital Proteins one. It really doesn't matter. Just make sure that it is collagen and not gelatin. Next thing I'm going to use is some flax seed. So this is actually ground flax. If you can grind it at the time that you're making it, that's even better if it's like freshly ground flax. But today I'm going to be using some pre-ground flax. We're going to do about a teaspoon. Next up, I'm going to use about a tablespoon of our coconut flour, coconut milk. So I'm using this one by Australia's Own. We're going to use 1 pastured egg, a little bit of sea salt, about half a teaspoon of coconut oil, and then some cinnamon as well. The other crucial thing that you're going to need is a waffle maker. I have a really ancient one from Breville. We probably had this when I was like 12 years old. But basically, yeah, you just need a waffle iron. And if you don't have a waffle iron at home, you can easily just turn these into pancakes. I'm sure it would work that way as well. But if you kind of want that signature waffle shape, gonna need a waffle maker. So first things first, I'm going to remove the skin on these sweet potatoes, and then I'm just gonna mash it in our bowl. And then we're literally just going to pop in all of our other ingredients and mix it all together. Okay guys, so we have our batter ready to go, and now all that's left is to pop it into our waffle maker. This is where I actually have a few tips for making this work, because this is not going to work like a normal waffle. You're going to have to give it more time to cook. What I like to do is I start out with the waffle maker on a medium to low heat for the first 10 minutes, and then I turn it up to a medium to high heat for about 8 minutes just to crisp up the outside. The other thing is that you want to take some precautions to make sure that your waffle doesn't stick to the waffle iron. This will obviously depend on what kind of waffle iron you're using. In general, you do want to make sure that you completely oil the plates, so make sure that you get into all of the divots with some coconut oil. But that's what I'm going to do now. I'm going to actually go over this really thoroughly with some oil just to make sure that it's completely non-stick and that our waffle will come out. So once you have thoroughly greased that, and I've also gone over it with some paper towel just to make sure it gets into all these little grooves, we're just going to turn it on, and I'm going to set the heat down to a low to medium for the first 10 minutes. And we're just going to pop our mixture into the waffle iron. And then my other tip is to make sure that you press this down really lightly. So you're not going to press it down into the waffle, you're just going to lightly kind of rest it. So now we're just gonna leave this for 10 minutes and then we're gonna crank up the heat after that. Okay, so our 10 minutes is just about up. I'm gonna turn this up to about medium to high for the next 8 minutes or so. It is the moment of truth. I'm gonna open up our waffle iron and hopefully the waffle doesn't stick. Okay, so we have got our waffle. It did stick a tiny bit on the bottom in one place, so it's a little bit broken here, but otherwise it did really well. From here, you can kind of do what you want. So if you wanted this to be more of a sweet waffle, you could add some things like nut butters or some fresh fruit. What I'm gonna do is keep this all savory. So I'm gonna pop on some avocado, a fried egg, and then I'm also going to drizzle over sort of like a hollandaise sauce. So I'll show you how I make that right now. So this recipe is essentially the same as our paleo aioli recipe, which is a super popular one here on this channel. So I will link that recipe also in the description below. But what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna alter it a bit. I'm gonna add in some chili and make it a little bit more spicy. Because if you're gonna go to the effort of making waffles, you might as well like go all in and make it like a super special Sunday breakfast. This is also something that you can make ahead and you can keep in the fridge for a few days. It's great for putting on salads as well. So we're gonna go ahead and make this one. So first up, what you're gonna do is you're gonna need 4 egg yolks. So next up, we are going to use about a tablespoon of lemon juice. So I'm just going to juice this lemon fresh. Then we're going to add in 2 teaspoons of our apple cider vinegar. I'm going to put in a little bit less than 1/4 teaspoon of chili powder. And now I'm just going to process this in our food processor, and then I will add in some of our olive oil. So I have got the light flavor, so you don't want to get the one that is like super robust because it's going to have a bit of a funky flavor. So I'm just going to turn this on, emulsify all these ingredients, and then we're slowly going to pour in about 300 mils, maybe less, of our olive oil. Okay, so I put in about 300 mils of olive oil and it is pretty thick, so I'm going to actually add it in a little bit of water to thin it out a bit. Of course, I'm also going to add some salt. So I've got about 1/2 teaspoon here to start with. Moving on to breakfast number 3, we have a low sugar smoothie bowl. Some of the main ingredients that I'm going to be using in this smoothie is blueberries. So blueberries are a great low sugar fruit. They're great for adding to smoothies if you don't want to have something that's super high in fructose, for example like banana and things like that. So I'm going to be using blueberries, and then I'm also going to be using some avocado. So avocado helps to thicken the smoothie while adding in some healthy fat, which is exactly what you want in the morning. I'm also obviously going to be putting in some protein powder. I'm using the one by Prana On, and I also have some frozen zucchini that I'm going to be using to thicken the smoothie bowl. So adding zucchini to smoothies has been really popular at the moment. I've seen so many people doing it online. That's what we're going to be doing today. So zucchini basically adds in some more nutrients whilst also making it really nice and thick. Plus zucchini doesn't have too much of a taste. Before freezing these, I actually steamed them. So steaming your veggies before you freeze them can basically help to make them more digestible. And this is especially the case if you are adding in something like cauliflower, which is another popular one. You would want to steam that before you freeze it because it's going to reduce the amount of goitrogens that are present in the cauliflower. So that's what we're going to be adding to our smoothie today. So let's do it. And if it does get a little bit jammed, you just want to go in there and kind of move it around a bit. So this is good if you have one of those tamper sticks. I don't have one with this blender, so I'm just going to use a spoon. other thing I'm going to do is add in some more blueberries as well. Okay, so we're all done, and you can't really tell from here, but we have like a very nice thick consistency, which is exactly what you want for a smoothie bowl. This is our final smoothie bowl. So it's super duper creamy and super thick, like it's like ice cream consistency, which is exactly what you want for a smoothie bowl. That pretty much wraps up this video for today. So I hope you guys enjoyed this one. Let me know if you're gonna try any of the recipes down below. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more videos like this on our channel, then give it a big thumbs up to let us know. Subscribe to our channel if you haven't already subscribed, and hit the notification bell if you want to know when we upload. Otherwise, I will see you in our next video. Bye guys!